Hey everybody, welcome to day 2 of DudaCon, Future-Proofing Your Agency. It's 3 days of virtual sessions, and hopefully you've learned a bunch yesterday. You have a full day of learning on tap for today. We're going to be focusing on AI, we're going to be focusing on machine learning, we're going to be focusing on a whole bunch of things. Before we dive into the agenda, would love to hear about where you guys are listening in from, what you're excited to learn. We'll watch the chats, kind of say hi to folks. Special shout out to Duda customers. Love having you here. We're going to be beginning today with an amazing session. Transactions are more than retail. Get clients selling online in less than 5 minutes. We're going to be looking at some high-level strategy with Leo Castro. We'll then be diving into some specifics with Yonatan Shaham. He's part of the product team at Duda. And then we're going to have a panel discussion with Silvia Martin. Very excited for that. Make sure, though, that you're ready to jump right into the next session, because right after that's done, we'll be looking at turning compliance into opportunity, getting ahead of regulations. That'll be in about an hour. Finally, I'll be bidding you all farewell, but you'll be in the amazing hands of Perna Verji as we look at AI and content creation, how agencies stand out. And again, one final note. Search Engine Journal and SimilarWeb, thank you so much for sponsoring this amazing 3-day session of learning. For those of you that aren't aware, Search Engine Journal, SEJ, is a fantastic resource to learn about news, to learn about strategy, and SimilarWeb is one of the best in suite SEO tools. So if you have any questions, we have the live chat going, and so any questions that you have, if it's a really good one, we'll put it up on screen and we'll answer as a group, but otherwise we definitely are going to be keeping an eye to respond individually. And without any further ado, we are going to kick it off with Leo Castro. Leo Castro is the founder of Decisive Moment Marketing, a consulting firm that works with high growth companies to build a compelling marketing strategies and campaigns. Leo has a deep experience marketing to SMBs, or small and medium-sized businesses, and has a particular focus on product marketing, including customer targeting, messaging, positioning, and pricing and packaging. Leo, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks for the wonderful intro there, Navah. Let's go and put the deck up on screen here. So, as Navah mentioned, I run a consultancy based on helping companies market to small businesses. So, when Duda approached me to come and present here, this is very near and dear to me, because, I think understanding how agencies can help small businesses and influence their decision making, again, is something that I do a lot. And I'm happy to be here to share what I've observed and how the market has changed, and how transactional commerce is becoming more and more relevant to what happens day to day. So with that, let's dive in here. So let me walk you a little bit through the presentation journey here for what I'll be talking through over the next several minutes. I can't help it, as the product marketer in me. I've structured this like a product marketer, and the way I like to think about things is not just the customers that we're trying to target, but the customers. What are they going through? Because I think if we understand that, it makes our ability to market to our end customers that much better, and that much more, we can display that much more empathy. So we're going to start off that way. We're going to look at, again, our customers, the consumers themselves, and what is happening in terms of their habits online, and how is that impacting that, how that's impacting transactional volume on the internet. From there, we'll move on to the implications for your clients, for the small businesses themselves. And I'll touch on that at a high level. And I think we'll do a double click on that when Yonatan talks about some of the interesting things that are going on in terms of building transactional websites. And then finally, I'll talk about the opportunities that exist for you, the agency, and what you can do to take advantage of these trends in the market. So with that, let's dive in. Let me first talk a little bit about these consumer trends that are impacting the market. So, Nowadays consumers expect small businesses to have a website, and on top of that, one that's interactive. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir on this one. An online presence now isn't just a nice to have; it's a must have. There's a stat out there online that's floating around. 62% of consumers will disregard a business if they can't find them online. That's from Safari Digital. I think the other interesting thing is I found this resource from Nielsen IQ, which does Nielsen ratings on TV and all that, and they found that 1 in 3 shoppers have bought from a competitor brand because of the lack of information that a retailer has online. So I think that's a pretty impactful stat in terms of why small businesses should be online and being able to provide some type of interaction. So I think the point here is to say that the next step here isn't just building the website. Again, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir on this one. The online presence isn't enough anymore. It's also now the importance of being able to have that ability to transact online. And I would say if there's any one thing to be able to take away from what I'm saying here today, it's that point that it's being able to take that next step in building that rich web experience and being able to enable transactions online. And then just to underscore that point is another stat from that same Nielsen IQ study that says that 86% of shoppers are combining shopping habits to encompass both online and in-store. And only about 14% are solely focused in-store. That means that your customers, the consumers themselves, are starting their journey online and doing their research, if not purchasing online, in addition to doing the normal brick and mortar activities that your customers are probably doing already. So again, underscoring that importance of being able to have that online transaction capability. And so then, just to put a finer point on that, consumers are expecting to interact with businesses online. And on the left here, I took this from US Census data. And I think a lot of people have seen this chart here, which shows e-commerce as a percentage of total retail, going back to 2015 all the way through 2023. And you can see that the proportion of e-commerce that's taking up retail has increased over the years, starting at about 7% to now it's about 15%. And of course, we had that spike during the pandemic when everybody was shopping online. And I think even though now, as that ramp has slowed down, I think we're all kind of feeling the impact of that. The reality is that proportion of e-commerce is still growing. So there's still that demand for consumers to want to shop online. So I think that's an important sort of takeaway to bring to bear here. But I think what's even more relevant for the customers that we go after, those small businesses, is that next stat next to it. And this I found from a U.S. Chamber of Commerce report, Powering Small Business Views from the American Public. 54% of consumers purchased a product directly from a small business within the month prior to doing that survey. So that's quite a significant number. What I'll say is also within that same study, 20% of consumers said that they made over 4 purchases in a given month from a small business. So there's definitely that activity for small businesses, and again, underscoring the need to be online. And so if this is retail, here's the rub. And Amir touched on this a bit yesterday. Interacting online isn't just about retail. There's all sorts of interactions that are going on online. And drawing from that same study, 46% of consumers said they purchased a service from a small business online within that prior month. So this could be like a salon, it could be like a cleaning service, that sort of a thing. But 46% again is not an insignificant number. And then on top of that, 38% made a dinner reservation online. So yet that's an example of that interaction that's going on, but isn't necessarily one where there's a payment that's being conducted, but still an interaction. And then just to underscore, depending on who your customers serve, there's definitely a generational impact here. This chart here shows sort of those same behaviors of engaging online by age, essentially, from baby boomers all the way to Gen Z. And as you would expect, the younger generations have much more interaction online, whether it's purchasing a product, purchasing a service, or making a reservation. But still, even across the baby boomer generation, there's still a significant amount of interaction that's going on online. So depending on who your customers are serving, this point is potentially even more pronounced. So, the point in showing all this is just to say that like customers are habituating to transacting online. And the point is it's beyond even just purchasing products. So again, there's a lot of opportunity there, and it's good to get to level set in terms of what our customers are doing. So with that, let me move on and talk about the implications for your clients, for your small business clients. So if they want to be able to transact online, and I won't go too deep into this, because again, Yonatan, I think will be able to touch on this and understand, we'll be able to touch on it more deeply. But there's a handful of things that need to be put in place to create that interactive website. Things like creating product or service pages that a consumer can learn more about the product and potentially add to the cart. There's managing the catalog of all the different products, being able to group them into different categories, being able to do marketing around those in terms of discount promo codes, being able to do on-page SEO for those same product pages, and being able to do memberships if you've got like that if your client has that business model around recurring sort of membership. But I don't mean to have this list here to be intimidating. The point is there's for many businesses, it's a lot easier than you think. And I like to group the small business audience into a few different buckets. I like to think of them in terms of, are they offering a low number of offerings online, like that salon that maybe has 5 SKUs of shampoo that they're putting online, or do they have a high number of offerings in the case of, say, an auto parts manufacturer where they're putting potentially millions of things online? And then the other dimension is in terms of operational complexity. Are they just taking a reservation and then putting it into the reservation schedule, or are they warehousing components in multiple places? Are they selling into multiple states and having to deal with multiple taxes? So operational complexity. And I think a lot of the attention for e-commerce has been focused on what's in the top row here, the types of customers that have high operational complexity, regardless of the number of offerings. And I think the real opportunity for the folks on the line here is actually that lower row, almost this idea of e-commerce light or light transactional commerce. The idea where there's a low number of offerings, but lower operational complexity, where I think the small business's business model is primarily brick and mortar. And so they're adding on e-commerce to supplement what they're already doing. So I think that's where the big opportunity is for us here is those and I think is an underserved part of the market actually is that lower sort of row, like the e-commerce light kind of view of the world. I think is where that opportunity lies. And I'll flip quickly through a few different examples here. We just got a puppy, and so this site here is near and dear to me. The idea of dog training classes, again, a service that you can get online. You don't need a ton. There's no SKU to a ton of. There's no inventory to speak of. It's just being able to sign up for that service. And then cleaning service, same sort of idea. The idea that you've got multiple types of SKUs, but there's no inventory to manage on the back end there. And then transactional site here in terms of a car wash that has a wax coupon. So an example of again, a service, but then also now layers in discounting and coupons and such. So again, like there's opportunity here. And, I think, again, like being the product marketer in me, like being able to understand where the niche is, where as a set of agencies and partners serving small businesses, where can we go to that's underserved? So with that, let me sort of turn then to opportunities for you for the agencies. And this is again, this stat is something that Amir had presented yesterday, and it's worth surfacing again. So, I did this analysis here from census data looking at MCC codes, and I think the interesting thing that came up here is that retail itself is only 10% of the total SMB population. 70% are in these sort of e-commerce light or services type areas where it's restaurants, personal or professional services. And another 20 are like in the manufacturing or B2B. But the point is like 90% of SMBs still have that need for rich transacting experiences, even though they're not in retail. So again, there's a huge opportunity here that I think is underpenetrated. And to be able to underscore that is this next slide here, which looks at, in Europe, different websites by different sectors and shows what percentage of them are doing e-commerce. And certainly retail has good penetration there. You see the 31% number, which ties back, which is kind of consistent with this earlier slide that I showed. But the interesting thing here is these other categories where they're more service oriented have a much lower penetration of quote unquote e-commerce, as low as 10% in the case of professional services. So I think there's a case here to be made that the TAM, the total addressable market, is fairly large, and there isn't a huge amount of penetration in there to be able to go a huge amount of penetration. So there's still a good amount of business to be had there, I think. And so, you know, there was from the same Chamber of Commerce report, you know, there was they polled small businesses, and small businesses, by and large, definitely still believe in technology as that lever to unlock growth. You know, it's helped them grow and thrive in challenging conditions, which I think is an opportunity for agencies to be able to provide that service. You know, I think the demand is there. You know, that same study, incidentally, also says that small businesses plan to increase the technology investment that they have over the next 2-3 years. So again, the willingness is there, and the wherewithal is there. So again, I think a good opportunity for agencies to help out these small businesses. You know, the other thing too is, let's face it, like acquisition costs are growing and increasing for everybody, for agencies, for us, you know, and for our customers, right? Like, you know, don't need to sort of belabor the idea that like it's harder to advertise on Facebook, harder to advertise on Google, and data sharing is becoming harder and harder, which means that the cost of paid media is going up, which then means that the way that small businesses are going to be able to grow is by unlocking the lifetime value of the consumers that they service. Like, how can they turn one transaction into 3, into 4, into 5? And I think the way to think about transaction commerce in this context is it's a way to increase that lifetime value, to get your customers to come back for more. So, you know, an example of a salon, you know, they put 5 SKUs of shampoo online. They're not going to be getting a new customer from that. But what they are going to be able to do is get their existing customers to spend more with them, again, increasing that lifetime value. So I think that's a good way to think about how transaction commerce can help your customers at the end of the day. And so, so again, just to kind of bring that point home here, you know, by enabling transacting sites, you know, it gives you as the agency an ability to increase your the offerings on your rate card, to be able to say, like, I can just not only design the site, but I can also build a transactional site on there. And for you, it's a chance to monetize that. I think more importantly, it gives you the ability to drive stickiness and reduce churn from your clients. So the more that that you provide services to them, the less likely they are to go on and move on somewhere else. You know, it just becomes that much more complex for them to lift away from you and go to a different agency. So again, there's just the benefit of having more to offer, and then the ones that do take on e-commerce through you are just going to be less likely to go away. So again, good benefit there to be able to offer transacting sites. And so, you know, I'll close here before I turn it over to Yonatan. You know, this is a perfect time. I think this is the perfect time to think about what you can do. You know, so a lot of your customers are probably going to be gearing up for the holidays, and so this is a good time to think about offering transactional sites and that transactional site capability to your small business clients. So again, like, pretty excited about this opportunity. I think the market is moving in a way, you know, consumers are habituating to doing e-commerce. And I think for your small business clients, being able to capture that demand is, again, easier than you think. So with that, I'll pause and I'll turn it over to Yonatan.
Thank you so much for that amazing session. Lots of good questions, lots of good conversation brewing, and we'll dive into all of it during general Q&A. to introduce Yonatan. Yonatan Shaham is the Director of Product Management at Duda, leading the eCommerce group. Yonatan has been with Duda for 5 years, and prior to that was co-founder of a startup. He specializes in complex web systems and internet payments.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here. So I will kind of take off where Leo ended, show some inspirational examples, talk a bit about what to do as an agency on the tactical level if you want to go and offer your service SMB clients, your brick and mortar SMB clients who are not transacting online. What are the key points to remember when you go and do that? What we know from the learned experience of agencies we work with is working and what pitfalls to avoid. And then we'll do a short demo on top of the Duda e-commerce system to show how you can take a business, a beauty salon in that example like Leo gave, and get them transacting online with their first product or service in a few minutes. So we start with the slides, some few inspirations. We saw this example in Leo's presentation, and I think, I almost every day go and look into the sites, the online transactional sites that people build with Duda. And when I saw this example and the other examples that I will show you soon, they are all real sites built on the Duda platform, sites that sell constantly. I was amazed, by the creativity of taking, this. I never thought that someone who trains dogs on the field, would have people pay online, select a date, but people, sometimes are more creative than what we expect. And I think that all of what we will see soon is how to take this creativeness and help it to help your clients. So here we have a very simple example. It's a big website. They have different courses of dog training at different sessions, and you can just select the date that you want, pay the deposit, and go on and to be registered to the training. Another example, this is a site, a professional association of, I think, if I pronounce it correctly, it's the Hosier Cowboy Association of Indiana. And they sell memberships, a professional membership in the association, and you can buy that online in different levels. And for some of them, you get a hat or a shirt with that, and you can select which size or which color do you want it to be. Another great example that we see very often, and I think we've seen a few dozens of this on our platform, are for businesses who are, or the primary business will not be transacting online. In this case, this is a basketball school from the UK, and they have a very well-designed website. And of course, the basketball school, the fees, the tuitions are probably paid directly to the school. But when students or their parents, need to buy the outfits, when they need to buy merchandise, they want a hat with the logo of the school, they do this online. And I think that this is, primarily giving the customers of this business, this, SMB, a better service by allowing them to do it online. Even if, they come and pick it up in training, you don't need to have shipping. It just gives the SMB a better way to be in touch with their customers. Another very nice example that we recently saw, it's for a circus. Who would have thought? So they are selling online tickets. They open a new kind of product or service for each show and each date, and they limit the number of tickets, like kind of an inventory, and people buy it online and come to see the show. Another very popular use case that we see is not selling tickets to the event, but selling, you can say, the other side of the event, the sponsors, the contributors. We see many conferences that are being held on the Duda platform, where the organizers sell either sponsorship package or, speaking packages and contributions to the conference. It can be commercial conference, it can be an NGO. We see this very, very successfully in the recent few months. This is also an extremely interesting case. Until now, we talked about all the examples where people go and buy online. But sometimes, especially with service businesses, you need to make some adjustments. You cannot just take someone's money online and promise to serve them, because there are dates, there are things you need to ask. So these guys took the e-commerce solution, and because of the design flexibility that we allowed them, and they did it completely by themselves without any advice from someone from our team, they added a contact form. And this service is renting ice rings that you can bring probably to your local neighborhood or even to your backyard. And they need some details in order to serve you in the right way. But just instead having a buy button and paying, they get all the details and the details of the requested service from that contact form. And I think this is the last example, going back when I started to work on Duda e-commerce. I think 2 years ago, I never imagined that I would see a website that rents heavy equipment online. I don't know if you can see from the images, but you can hire a crane, you can hire a tractor, and you can hire many other things online. One of the most interesting websites that I've seen that transacts online, I don't know how many of you here in the panel or in the audience thought that you would see someone renting heavy equipment online in a Duda website. So after seeing all this inspiration, just going back to what Leo said, eventually, when you as an agency create an additional revenue channel for your SMB clients, you help them to overall business growth. They get customer loyalty and satisfaction. As we said, sometimes it's about selling more online, and sometimes it's about having better relationship with their customers. And if you as an agency can do that, you win more stickiness of the clients, of the SMB clients, and of course increased revenues, because if the site is of better value for them, you can charge more from them. And you have here, as we said, a very good opportunity of the holiday season momentum. Black Friday promotions are not just for retails, iPhones, etc. You can do Black Friday for a dentist, for cleaning services, and for many other things, which I see in the commercials that I see on the web every day. So when you want to actually do this, what should you keep in mind as an agency? So first thing, and this is true for any website, but when a website is used by the SMB to transact online, you can expect them to log into the platform more frequently, to do more changes, and therefore you should use a good permission mechanism to allow them to work only on what they should. You don't want clients, moving widgets around, changing the copy, changing the design, and calling you saying, okay, what happened here? I need you to fix my site ASAP. So you want to have good permission mechanism, again, for any site, but especially if you know that the client is going to log in to update prices, or to send a promotion, or to enter a new coupon code for the holiday season. Second, you want a single interface with a familiar UI, which is basically a natural extension of the platform that you already use to build your website. And this is for you as an agency, but also for your clients. First, for you as an agency, if you or your staff need to work on many platforms and learn them, you waste time on things that are not your core business, and you're not investing your time in generating more revenue and serving your clients in the best way. Same for your clients. If they need, to go to one place to see who created, who filled the contact form and ask for an advice or for a session, and go to another platform to see who purchased online, it's a lot of confusion for them. It's hard for them to work. Not last, but third thing is to use product types that are relevant to your SMB's vertical. And this is used first to cut the store build time, and also to reduce the support needs. We will see in the example in the demo that in Duda platform, for example, we have what we call a service product that you create. And in this case, it doesn't include shipping. Think of, let's say the beauty salon SMB client, or another one, or a lawyer who wants to set up a service with a paid service for a face-to-face meeting, and then they see, okay, there's shipping. What should I do here? Should I add dimension? Should I ignore it? Should I turn it off? Reducing confusion, it helps both you and your team, and of course, your SMB client to work with the platform. Again, this is true for any website, but especially important when the website is a revenue stream, is to use store pages that are SEO ready and are geared toward conversion and optimized for products and services offering. This, of course, means loading speed, core web vitals, hosting uptime, but also structured data for SEO like product schema and category schema, and ability for search engines to read the content of the website and to surface it in search results in the right way. And last thing before we go to the demo is it is important, you don't want as an agency to give your client a generic site that looks like every other site. You want to use your professional design capabilities to deliver fully customized responsive websites. And so you want to do this with an e-commerce platform that gives you the ability to do that. And we will see it very interestingly in the demo in a second. So what we will see in the demo, and we will soon switch to the Duda editor, we will take the case of a beauty salon. We will create a new product for a treatment packages of 10 plus 1. Again, can be very interesting for a holiday season promotion. And we will also see some examples that are already set up for gift vouchers and products to pick up in store. So let's move to the editor. Okay, so hope you can all see my screen now. So let's first open just a salon inline. Basically, I took a very, basic website with home, services, events, and contact us, a very, basic lead generation website, a very common one. And all the thing that I did so far is to add the store component, the sell online component to it. So let's create our first product, and later we will see the other products that we prepared in advance. So let's create, as we mentioned, a service product, because we are going to create the 10 plus 1 treatment package. So we don't need shipping, we don't need many other things. I prepared the title, so let's paste it here, and a description. And I don't know if you can see it, but we already have here some support for AI. Let's do improve writing, because what we know from agencies, many times, clients can write something, they can explain what are they doing, but it's not always optimized text to sell online. So let's use this one. Let's add some images. To give the buyers, the customers, a better understanding, as Leo said, of what they are about to buy. Add the price. Here. And, basically that's it. Let's save. And we can now see this new product that we created, the service one. Let's just go to the preview of the page. Oh no, I wanted to do something else. Let's go to the services page. And, now we have a standard services page, and we have a contact us button, call to action, because if the site is non-transactional, we expect buyers to go online, fill a contact form, and then, schedule an appointment. So let's now instead link this to the new product that we created. this one. And now go to the preview, and this would be the buyer experience. I didn't change the copy, but you see it takes me directly to the product page, and I can add it to the cart. And let's see what happens if someone buys it. Let's just add some address. Sorry. Let's use our test credit card. And we have a purchase. And I think, I don't know if you took time, but from the minute that we started until the minute that this business was able to sell online, to offer this voucher or this eligibility to buy 10 sessions and get one for free, I think it took like less than 5 minutes. And let's see the orders that we have. And we can see here with today's date, a new order with all the details. And now the business can know that there's someone bought this and they can honor their purchase. Let's take a look at some other examples. We can do it directly from the website. So let's go to the preview again. And we can go to the store, which is the main page with the product gallery, and in this case, a category gallery. So we saw the beauty package. Let's see gift vouchers. This is also a very popular use case that we constantly see on our platform. You buy this, you can give it to someone else, you can use it for yourself. And another interesting use case, what Leo mentioned, is for some products to pick up in the store. And we can see here a moisturizing summer kit. And in this case, you can specify in which location you want to pick it up as a buyer and add it to the cart. And just see the last use case that we have here is the event. And let's say, again, holiday season, good time to make promotional events, allowing people to buy tickets online. And you can make a selector of the number of tickets. Of course, the price is adjusted accordingly. So I think this is for the demo and no more slides also. Back to you.
What an amazing session. Thank you both, Leo and Yonatan. We're about to dive into the general discussion and QA. And with that, I now introduce our final panelist, Silvia Martin. Silvia is the founder of Trebly LT Limited, an independent consultancy specializing in SEO strategy for technical SEO and global clients. She has a master's degree in marketing and has been working in the digital marketing industry for more than 9 years. In the UK, she worked as an in-house SEO and then moved agency side as an SEO manager, and now is an independent consultant based in London, working with a wide range of B2B, B2C, and e-commerce. She also judges at the UK and European Search Awards, recognizing and celebrating excellence within the industry. Silvia, thank you so much for joining the discussion.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. And what a brilliant 2 presentations. I really enjoyed that. Yeah. And I think that they're really useful.
So, because we just came off of the demos, I'm going to start with the questions that came from the demo discussion because that's really fresh. And then we'll go back into some of the higher level discussions and topics. So one of the questions that actually came up was actually around coupon codes and the discount codes. A couple of people mentioned that they are really excited to implement, they're really excited to leverage, but they couldn't quite see what you were doing or how to do it. Yonatan, would it be possible to go just back to that section and talk through that bit again?
Sure. Are you talking about the coupon codes by setting up coupon codes for buyers in the to the e-commerce, or
I believe so. Sorry, my puppy Momo is very excited about building e-commerce sites. She just
also
do
my
it.
cat. I don't know if you saw her.
Yeah, if you just want to share the demo or the demo of the discount codes. Here we go. To build native Duda e-commerce sites, could you tell me the discount codes that flashed up on the screen just now?
Yeah, I think this has to do with a promotion that we will talk about soon. I guess someone from the team will bring it up again, but we can definitely show how to do the promo codes in the store.
Okay. I apologize if I misunderstood the question. If it was about this, just say that it was about this discount. Otherwise, we'll go back and review that process in the demo. I'm just waiting for you to chime in. Either way, we'll move on and we'll come back if need be. The next question was around tech SEO schema and how that plays in. And I'd actually love for all three of you to chime in. Yonatan, obviously from the product standpoint, but also Silvia, love your standpoint on how you kind of consult clients when working with various different types of platform schemas and making that work. But Yonatan, we'll start with you on how Duda works with tech SEO schema.
Yeah, so I think, we all just getting back to the basic level, we have a huge investment in core web vitals and in loading speed in general, which brings us constantly to be, in the Google reports, the leading platform. Besides that, and maybe if we can share the editor again, I would just show, if you can see that. Yes. So this is again the product we created together a few minutes ago. I did not do anything beyond what you saw in the demo. And if I scroll down, we see that we have the product SEO section, which we can edit. We can edit the page title, the meta description, and the URL handle. I will not change anything now. We also, you can see this nice badge in the bottom, that we generate automatically for each product page a markup schema with all the data. You don't need to do anything. You can go later and check it with the Google tools and other tools and see that it's live. And we know, that agencies don't want to waste time on that. And this is, basically table stakes when you want to promote transactional sites or sites with purchase options. This is a must-have. I would say that, in the longer term, and I think, this was discussed also in other meetings, Duda is looking very deeply into all the connection between AI and SEO, and we empower users there constantly.
Amazing. Silvia, what is your take on how to handle different clients' software's SEO schema? How are you? What are you seeing people doing that's successful? How are you guiding folks?
Yeah, thank you, Navah. So as always in SEO, it will depend, right? So it depends which platform they're already using. So they can either create it themselves, if it's like a custom CMS, or there's a lot of different helps with that, like different plugins or platforms like Duda that already help with all the schema, like that. They don't need to, yeah, it depends. They don't need to code everything, So that is always when you can find something that is automated, yeah, it works better for the clients.
And Leo, are you finding a similar story with SMBs? Are you finding that they're aware to even ask about the schema of their sites? Are you finding that it's more of an education process?
I think it's more of an education process. I think part of the reason why they look for agencies that have that SEO expertise is they don't understand a lot of the finer details, or they'll dig into it and quickly realize, whoa, I sell heavy machinery online. I have no idea what SEO is about, right? So I think it's more like people dabble with it, but quickly realize that there's an opportunity to bring in help.
So I'm going to put this next question to Silvia to kick it off. Would love your take on digital products. We talked quite a bit about just general e-commerce, and we talked quite a bit about how you might translate services into e-commerce. What are you seeing on the digital product side?
Yeah, so I have some of my clients that they are in the service industry, and they are trying to do that. But also in general, I would like to say that I think that there's a lot of opportunity for businesses in the service industry to create digital products. Things like, we had already said in this on the presentation different examples, but also you can have like ebooks, tutorials, apps, e-learning. So especially like people that works in the consulting or services, personal services, they have this kind of opportunity to enter into the e-commerce side of the website. And this way, they have a website as a portfolio, they can get clients, but they can convert the clients, which is the amazing point, right? And also it helps you invest more in your business because you can get more clients 24/7. That's the beauty of it also, because you don't need to have the business hours. So it helps with all of that. So increase the orders too. And there's a survey done by Deloitte that they published at the beginning of this year, talking about digital products. And they say this is for the US market in particular. And they say that right now, there's an estimated 2.9% of the monthly budget of people that is going to digital products. So it's something that people is demanding more and more. And there's a lot of opportunities, I said. And 2.9 can feel like it's low, but if you go to other categories like clothing, is 3.8%. So it's quite a big chunk of the monthly expenses. And also, I think that the e-learning sector is the one that is growing a lot. There's a lot of opportunities for people. You have your know-how, you can show others. There's a lot of AI, a lot of different technologies that can help you build your courses, your lessons. And then you can jump in, create easily a website and then start selling it online.
Amazing. Leah, what's your take on it? Are you seeing similar hesitation, excitement in the SMB market for digital products?
Yeah, no, I think there definitely is excitement. And, again, like Silvia mentioned, it's a way to get sort of their brand out there, a way to provide that sort of thought leadership around what they do. And, I think Silvia would be able to reinforce this. It's a virtuous circle, right? It provides more sort of material for SEO purposes to be able to aid in the discoverability. So it provides both an additional revenue stream while at the same time providing that marketing benefit. So I think so 100% agree.
Yonatan, anything to add before we move on to the next topic?
I just think we see also very interesting use cases in which people combine digital and service or other products where digital is used, as Silvia mentioned, to allow customers 24-hour interaction, getting some content, committing to transaction with the business. It's a very interesting use case that we see growing.
So the next topic I actually want to bring up came from in my asking how people are balancing their spend in response to Leo's presentation. Doc Sheldon, hi Doc, made the really useful comment that currently he is blended, but in another location, it would be purely online. And I'm really curious, all three of you, we'll start with Leo because it was in response to your conversation, but then we'll go to Silvia and then Yonatan. What is your stance on localizing the strategy? of your either digital marketing versus having the hybrid versus being in store? How are you guiding your clients? What are some of those criteria to make that assessment?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a balancing act, right? And Sylvia can probably speak to this more, but like, the more targeted you can make your marketing campaigns, obviously the better, right? But then a lot of times that comes at the expense of scale, right? Which then drives up the cost, right? So I think there's a fine balancing act there in terms of how you want to allocate your spend, and generally a mix where you're probably doing a little bit sort of local and then sort of providing air cover in terms of more general brand spend probably is sort of a way to kind of think about like almost that portfolio of spend. But I think again it very much depends on sort of the type of customer you're going after, the type of consumer you're going after, or the type of small business you're going after if you're an agency.
Silvia, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do agree with Leo. Like, it will depend on the business and the target customers. For example, if you are like a small business, you have like a physical store, and then you also are thinking about having your website, or you have it already, but you are like in the early stages. I think that, for example, local SEO is great if you are serving an area. But then if your customers is more like you can sell online and you can serve different countries or different places, then your strategy also needs to evolve and go and cover all of them. Like, for example, in SEO, you can do international SEO and localize or transcreate, your content. Because even if, for example, if you are selling e-learning, for example, right? In the UK or in the US, it depends on the country, it will be different variations of things. So you will need to do like research, but also, as Leo was saying, this is about budget and resources. So the first thing is for the business owner to understand which is the target audience, or which audience they want to reach next, right? To develop the strategy.
Amazing.
Yeah, actually, one other
Leo.
sort of follow-on comment, building on what Sylvia said. I think a key part of this also is testing and learning, right? Like being able to have a small amount of budget to be able to test different tactics and see what works. Big advocate for being able to do that, and then eventually the strategy becomes the tactics become apparent. So.
And Yonatan, any thoughts on the kind of localization? And I feel like you would probably get to see kind of the forest and the trees, because from the product standpoint, you'd be A/B testing and quality assuring all of it, but then you'd also get to see the trends of all the Duda sites. So very curious on your take there.
So I think we see both, and I think we see, as Leo said, many businesses who come from a very physical, localized presence, starting to do their steps in selling online, having their website as more as like just face and information of the business. I think the basketball school example that we saw is very interesting, because we see many do that, creating a specific channel for their customer base to transact with them. I'm sorry, my cat is also very...
Never apologize for a cat making a guest appearance.
You're right. And also, if we go back to that dog training example, I don't know how many, I can check, but I didn't, how many, of the buyers come from that area, or how many, otherwise wouldn't buy if they couldn't do it online. They would see this website, they would say, okay, this is an interesting dog trainer, but, it's too big of a hassle to contact them, to ask, to inquire, and maybe, they are ready to buy and they can do it online. They don't need to be necessarily from that very local area.
Amazing. So we're coming close to time, and I want to make sure each of you can give the full expertise. This was a lot of amazing content, and make sure everybody that you don't just skedaddle. There's another amazing session right after this talking about compliance. We'll start with you, Silvia, then we'll go to Yonatan, and then we'll finish with Leo. I would like the one really important takeaway that if people have one go-do off of thinking about e-commerce and not conventional e-commerce sites, what would be your one go-do for everyone listening today? Silvia?
Yeah, so as I said before, I think that it's great to have and also Leo mentioned in his presentation, it's great to have a website, right? Because it's your portfolio, you draw traffic, but being able to sell online is the next step, is the thing that is really going to help you increase your revenue and traffic. So I will recommend to people to reflect that and think maybe how they can start doing it, even if it's, just testing maybe one product, two products. You don't need to go suddenly and create a full e-commerce, very complex, right? So yeah, I will encourage people to think about it, reflect, and try some kind of products to sell
Amazing.
online.
Go ahead, Yonatan.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, I think this is a very good timing for agencies to go and have a conversation with their SMB clients, saying, holiday season is coming up. Your customers are expecting to see some promotion online. Let's think about what you can do, even if it's, creating just one offer and bringing them into this domain, proving them that it's worthwhile.
And Leo, do you want to finish us off with one kind of big takeaway that you'd like everyone to listen to?
Sure. Yeah. It's and the curse of going last is everybody else says all the really fun, awesome stuff. So I'll
or
add.
You know how to format based off of how they said.
So the last one I'll say to kind of build on both what Yonatan and Silvia said is, I think especially if you're exploring this as a new sort of channel and a new service to offer to your small business clients, is to kind of do what I mentioned, which is to try to understand your customers' customers and try to understand what their needs are, so that you can then sort of use a pitch, use an offering that will resonate with your small business clients. Like understanding your customers' customers just builds that empathy, so that you're able to understand more where transactional commerce, e-commerce fits into the needs of a small business. So that's maybe the point that I would add is there's a couple of layers here to understanding the value chain.
Amazing. So with our remaining time, we'll go around. Leo, where can the amazing folks who've been watching and maybe watch the recording later, where can they get in touch with you?
Sure. Either connect with me on LinkedIn, Leo Castro, or leo@decisivemomentmarketing.com.
And Silvia, how about you? Where can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so they can find me also on LinkedIn, Silvia Martin, and SEO.
And Yonatan, I don't know if you want everyone getting in touch with you, because looking at the comments, there's a lot of great commentary, but Yonatan and the Duda team are very much here to support. And if you want to chime in with where they can get in touch, otherwise we will defer to the amazing support team.
Sure. Just to remind, we have the idea board on our platform, and many of the answers to the questions can be here. And if you see something that you miss, just let us know over there. We constantly look at it and take it very seriously.
Amazing. Well, again, thank you all so much for sharing your amazing perspectives. I'm Navah Hopkins, Optimizer Evangelist. I hosted the session on e-commerce in non-conventional e-commerce sessions. We're about to talk about compliance, so get your little bathroom break, a little drink, little nibble, and then we will be right back here in a couple of minutes to discuss compliance. And making sure that we're not just thinking about it from a serious I have to do it standpoint, but where is the profit and opportunity there. So again, thank you guys so much, and we will see you in the next session.